This video is for those of you that need to know how to cut and pin your project for the corner bookmark. So on my template, I have sketched out my ladybug. I am working myself into my design space, but I'm not using all of it. So I'm going to be starting off by taking my paper scissors, and I'm going to cut. And I realize it's kind of, let's see if I can get the camera to see how exactly I'm cutting. Alright, so I need to be here. So I'm going to be cutting around the entire ladybug itself, because I need to imagine that it is a part of my background. Cut our bottom line. So there we have our main part of our ladybug, and then we'll need to cut out just a triangle to act as our back piece. Sorry, there's nothing super duper exciting about cutting paper. So there's our front and our back. Let's see if I move this way. Oh yeah, now we are on track. We will then get our felt that we are choosing. So for those of you that are in the classroom, you get one full-size piece of felt to work with. For those of you that are course students, you have whatever fabric you have at home that you want to work with. So in order to save myself some cutting, I'm also going to line this up in the actual corner, and then I don't have to cut the two other sides. Also, by doing it in the middle, you then are kind of wasting a lot of your other fabric. So try to be mindful of how much fabric you're using. So I'm gonna line it up over in the corner, and then I'm going to get my pins. So I'm just gonna start one at a time, and you're gonna poke it down through, but then you also need it to come back up through. So that way it's fully stationary. I'm not wiggling that around, because if I were just to stab down through, this can still go all over. So it takes a down and then a back up, and then that is very stationary and does what I need it to do. Then I'll do the same thing with this triangle. I will put it in a corner just so I can save myself some cutting. I will pin down and then pin up through. Please watch your fingers when you do this so you don't stab yourself. Then I will take my fabric scissors and I will cut along the edges of the paper. So I'm trying my best not to actually cut the paper, but I want to be super duper close to it, because this now is my template or my stencil. So we're just cutting. Now the fabric's like in my way with my hand. So there we have one piece. And cut like this, just so that the rest of this fabric is not like blocking my hand from being able to get to the fabric. Okay, there's that piece. Now I'm going to cut around the head. And there we go. So now I will be able to unpin. And I have my main front and my main back. Now at this point, I can put my scraps in the scrap bucket. I can put those aside, and I'm going to get my paper scissors back out, and I'm going to finish cutting out the rest of my ladybug. Because now I'm going to cut out my applique pieces. So I'm done with those, and now I have just my ladybug. So I want my ladybug to be red. So I'm gonna go check the scrap bin, which is over there. I'll be right back. So I've got some red and some black. So I'm going to make the body of my ladybug red, and I think I'm going to make the head black. So I'm actually going to kind of make them both black to start, just because that's the look that I want to go for. I'm gonna pin it down again. Take my fabric scissors, cut around my ladybug. So the reason I'm doing black first is so that the red of the bug is kind of coming off of it in a more 3D looking type thing. So you have to think of how the fabric's going to lay and build on top of one another. Alright, so I've got the black cut. Now I'm going to cut my paper again to get just the shape that I want to be in red. Pin that one down now. I'm going to take my fabric scissors and cut around that. Alrighty, so now that is cut. So the way that this is all going to line up then is that the red will go on top of that, and this will all sit on top of my green. So that is how we cut out all of our fabric pieces. Obviously none of it is sewn together, and then this piece would go back behind it. So that is pinning and cutting for the bookmark.